A huge moo to the herd, and welcome to episode 24 of our Omnifactory playthrough. I have done a heck of a lot of work between episodes, so let's go a quick rundown of what I've managed to get through. First of all, you'll notice this little doohickey over here. This is our manual mill from Extra Utilities 2, which you can just activate by right-clicking on it. This is powering our resonator, which I've used for making stone burnt, which I then used go up here, pop up these stairs, make a water mill, and by adding water at the corners and letting it flow around the sides, I'm getting 16 grid power. Now, I needed this because there was a quest for it. Go into the Microverse, need the resonator so we can make red coal. Red coal is then used to make black steel. Black steel recipes set up to craft. Just as a crafting recipe, they're going to recipe for black steel. It's a mix of steel dust, black bronze dust, void crystals, and red coal. Black bronze is gold, silver, and copper. What did I need the black steel for? Well, go back to our quests. Black steel allows us to make the elite components and the elite catalyst, which goes onto our small Microverse Projector, which is the focus of today's episode. I've also made up a load of phosphoric acid. Still processing a load over here. I've got a advanced electrolyzer set up. We're just converting the excuse me, phosphor into phosphate, and then the phosphate becomes phosphorus, which I've been adding into our advanced chemical reactor with oxygen and water to produce phosphoric acid, which gets pumped over to here. I've got an advanced chemical reactor with our phosphoric acid and a recipe to make luminescence, which is just one energetic blend and one aluminium dust. So we've got plenty of aluminium dust, and we've got energetic blend on passive, so not a problem at all. I have a centrifuge going through. This is just processing apatite at the moment. You see we've got plenty of apatite and tiny piles of phosphor. One thing I did do, grab these tiny piles, is set up a packager here with a robot arm. Take exactly, just look at this, 9 items, and just drop these in, and it will automatically package them up into the various components. Saves trying to pull stuff together. So the other thing I made, I'll just go back over here quickly, is we have a advanced centrifuge, an interface, and that's just providing hydrogen, which is being centrifuged and turned into deuterium, which would be sitting here, but actually it's being pumped somewhere else, and that is to this additional blast furnace. In here is my deuterium. Again, I have an interface underneath which will provide the necessary components to make modularium. That's just steel dust and energetic blend with some deuterium, make modularium. And as you can see from my inventory, I've made all the components we need to make our small Microverse Projector. All of this stuff. And that's what we're going to focus on today, because I'd like to get into the Microverse. To shrink down and go, wee, give me all your stuff. Right, I think the place I'm going to put the Microverse Projector is about here. There is something I can do with the blueprint. Small micro this. Yeah, so apparently I can freeze the current preview to be able to preview in the world. Okay, so if I just click that, or does that not work for the whole thing? Oh, it's a sneaked. Does help if I learn to read. Sneak to freeze the current. Get this work. I had this working yesterday. There we go. Right. So if I pop this, just want it in the corner for the time being. I just right click, tells me the blocks I need. So I need the, looks like the machine controller here. I think that's the large output hatch. Here's our power plug. That one's obvious. They look like just casings. One looks like a tiny input, more fluid input hatch, but could also be a small item. Go back to our thing. So the huge one goes either side. One in the back corner according to this. That's a vent. So let's go grab that one. Nope, let's not do that. Give me that back. Vent. Well, that hasn't cleared. I suppose it's still got the grid. Maybe that isn't the vent. It looks like the vent. And the vent seems to go on the top, so I don't know what picture this is showing. Oh, this must be just there. There'd be my huge item output. Not that one either. Right, let's put the rest of the casings in and see how we get on with this. I thought this was going to be a lot easier than it is, and I seem to be making a right meal of it. These seem to be outputs. I take my item hatch, pop you here, put the input one there. This one I'm going to have as output, I think. Here's my huge item output. It doesn't. This one I'm going to have as fluid input. No, I've actually put the item input. Let's see what the rest is. I've got my glass, so that goes there, there, and there. And we got casings all around, vent at the top by the looks of things. Hope this all comes together. Last one is vent. Blueprint found none, structure found none, status missing structure. Let's have a look. What's obviously wrong here? Let's do level by level. The modular machine controller, item input on the right, fluid hatch on the left. Okay, so let's swap these around. Q, Q, Q. Okay. Item input, it's cleared. Fluid input, that's cleared. All right. It's done. And that's still not working. Not know why. Let's see. We've got our fluid input hatch, modular machine controller, tiny item input. Got energy, yep. Output, done. Machine casings all around, cool. Next level. Oh, we forgot the quantum processor. I knew there was something. So if I take that out, put my quantum processor in here. Put our ineffable glass in here. Yay! Now connected. Structure found. Small microverse projector. Missing fluid input, which would be rocket fuel. But that's great. Now we've got our small microverse projector. Let's get it all hooked up. So I'm going to need to bring some rocket fuel into here. Small item input. And put an interface at the bottom, I guess. We're also going to need to hook up some power. I'm pretty sure this takes direct RF, but we'll find that out in a second. I have no idea why I'm hacking away at the floor when I can just go underneath it. It's just sitting in here. I'll make a mark as to where it's sitting there. So under here is where power's going in. Under here is where my rocket fuel will be going in. So I've got an enemy conduit. I have some end-steel energy conduit. So let's go and hook that up first. So straight line. 2, 3. Connected. So is that giving me power? It is indeed. That's good. And the next thing we need to do. I'm sounding really croaky today. Confirm, that's done. So let's go get our need a fluid interface, and I wonder if I need a pump. This is modular machinery, so I'm not sure it accepts Gregtech covers. We'll find out soon. So quickly craft up a fluid interface. And what else do I need? I need to start thinking about our Tier 1 Microminer. Just this little guy here. Let's add that in. So lots of bits to add. I think we'll pattern these up. It'll be the easiest solution. So I made a load more patterns. I've already burnt through them. That was a full stack earlier. So sensors, steel heavy plating, and refined processors. Just pop out refined processors in. LV sensors. Oh, that's interesting. Will it accept any sensor, or does it have to be LV? Not the end of the world. Do all of that. So, get that recipe. Steel heavy plating. Steel heavy plating, I think, is just steel plates, 2 steel plates in a compressor, so we can just do those manually for the time being. Basic mining lasers. Let's add those in. Field generator. Again, that should be relatively easy. What we'll do, if I've got any circuits. have 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep those out. So got that. Conductive iron thrusters. Make a jetpack after this. And a basic diesel generator. Then we'll pop you in there. And cable, steel gears. Add all of these recipes in. What I'll do, because there's obviously going to be some manual steps involved. Well, what we'll do first, I think, is we will. So if I add this one in, so that we can put it all together, is we'll hook up the rocket fuel, and then I'll get the components made up for our Microminer, and you can see about getting things done. So my fluid interface should be done now. Not conduit. Grab some ME conduit. I've got some covered cable. So let's head back down here. See if this works. I'm just going to stick that into our small item out input. Clear some space. So fluid interface here. Take a piece of cable, pop there. I wonder if I can run some conduits. Let's go. No, that's not conduits. Wrong one. Get rid of that. And still conduit. I wanted ME conduit. Barrier to my work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Connected. With my step count for the day. Go grab a bucket of fuel. By the end of today's episode, I would like to see us having used our first, what are these called? Microminers. Yeah, using our first microminer. We can start working on what we're going to do next. So I have 347 buckets of rocket fuel. So my distillation tower has been churning away, doing a pretty good job. Well, this is item input, not the fluid input. Darn it. In the wrong place. Or did I? Oh no, I didn't. Whew. Right. So, am I going to need to put some sort of pump or something? I wonder if a pump would actually work. Let's go. I've got a feeling it won't. We're about to find out. I've got a spare one around here. This isn't a Gregtech machine. I'm not sure this is going to work. And I'm right. I'm going to have to use conduits. That makes it messy. What does it? I wonder if I move this down a level. And pop some fluid conduit on me. Haven't. I'm going to have to definitely get remote wireless terminal for this AE2 system, I think. Conduit, pressurized fluid conduit. Cheap and cheerful. Hole. We'll pop you there. Is that too low? That's too low. Let's take pressurized fluid conduit. You there. Take out ME fluid interface. Pop you there. Then I'm going to break this and pop a piece of covered cable. Connect up to our ME system. All I want to do, go yet a wrench, wrenching up. You are to insert, not extract. Down, you are to extract, not insert. It's active. Last but not least, rocket fuel, which is now fueling our Microverse Projector. Managed to get myself stuck. Go. So I have fuel, lots of rocket fuel, I have energy. All I need is to put the little bits in to get us going. So we'll pause here, I'll get the little components crafted up, and then when we return, we'll launch our first Microminer into the Microverse. Okay, we're back. So that took a lot longer than I expected. There's still too many manual steps in my process, but everything is ready to go to make our steel-plated Microminer Tier 1. So let's just hit the button. Have a quick look and see how long this is going to take. Yeah, I've got far too many manual steps, and going back to using LV stuff was a surprise because obviously we've not used it for such a long time. I'm going to have to think about all these manual steps and get rid of them, because the whole point of this pack is to automate. If I'm having to walk backwards and forwards each time to get various components, then that's not the point of the pack. So we'll just let this craft up, and then when we'll be back, we'll have our steel-plated Microminer. We'll be ready, hopefully, to see what this micromining brings us. So be back soon. Okay, so that's our steel-plated Microminer made. Now what else do I need for this? Go into uses. So apparently I need Tier 1 Microminer, quantum flux, and a chest. So I think I've got chests already. Yeah, let's just get a normal chest. And our quantum flux, I made one of these earlier, and that's really easy with what we've got. It's basically, let's just get the recipe. Quantum flux is a pulsating crystal, which is pulsating iron and diamond, and pulsating iron is an alloy of iron and pulsating dust. Pop that in fluid form into an autoclave with a diamond to get that, and then we've got plenty of extraterrestrial matter right over here. We got a fair amount. So that's what we made that up with. So I have all the components, hopefully. It does that. Right, let's go over to our Microverse Projector. In our input hatch, we will pop our steel-plated Microminer, our chest, and our quantum flux. And that's all disappeared, and it's now processing. Oh, this is exciting. It's actually pretty quick. I thought it was going to be a bit slower than this. Just make sure we've got plenty of power. Yep, we don't seem to have an issue with power there at all. That's us done. There's missing input item, which is fair enough. What did we get for this? We got dense iron ore. Would be useful if I wasn't producing tons of it using deep mob learning. Cassiterite, which is great for tin. Redstone, yeah. Nickel, actually nickel's quite useful. I get low on nickel a lot of the time. Rutile, now this is going to be very useful. If I remember correctly, rutile is what's locking the EV tier. Uraninite ore is actually very useful for our pulsating dust. Galena, not so much. So open up my rucksack and put it in here. More galena, yay. Moon turf, I don't know what that's for. Dilithium ore, that could be useful. And salt. Salt is quite useful. So, salt. And galena we'll put away. I want to have a look at what the dilithium's used for. So, we can smelt it into dilithium dust or pulverize it into more dilithium dust. And with deuterium in an autoclave, we can make dilithium crystals, which are a component of a hovercraft. I'm not sure what that's for. Useful for a large microverse projector. Now that is quite useful. And we can make the ultimate gem in advanced crafting. And what's moon turf for? We can pulverize it into moon dust. I need a 400 EU per tick. That's HV, is it? Sounds about HV. So I can turn that into moon dust. And moon dust is handy for making quantum flux. It's also very good for making deuterium, and it makes slightly more than my current electrolyzer. Well, that's good. I'm actually quite pleased at that. So I have a supply of rutile now, and rutile is going to be the thing that unlocks our EV tier. Rutile. So if I pulverize that, I get rutile dust and crush rutile. And we get more rutile, centrifuge that to get rutile, and it's this. Carbon dust plus rutile plus chlorine equals titanium tetrachloride. And titanium tetrachloride, a blast furnace with magnesium dust gives me hot titanium ingots and magnesium chloride. Hot titanium in a vacuum freezer gives me titanium. Okay, so we have a path for our next tier. Oh, pretty pleased with that. I mean, we've now unlocked the Microverse. We've done a vast bulk of this stuff. And I think it's now time to move on to mid-game. And as you can see from the quest book, there's a lot to do. So I think the first thing I'm going to do in the next episode is start working on HV machines. And I think my first one will be a HV ore processing line, because it's taken an awful lot of time to process stuff. I think that's something I'll need to work on. I hope you join me in the next put my teeth back in. I hope you join me in the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, then feel free to give it a like. If you'd like to see more episodes, then please feel free to subscribe. Until then, I wish you a very pleasant day. Goodbye.